The Great Pyramid of Giza. Built on the Giza Plateau in Egypt around 2560 BC, the Great Pyramid is the only original wonder of the ancient world still standing. It was commissioned by the pharaoh Khufu of the 4th dynasty as a tomb to protect his body for eternity. At its original height of 146.7 meters, or 481 feet, it remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years. The base of the pyramid covers 13 acres, and its sides are aligned almost perfectly to true north. Construction required roughly 2.3 million stone blocks, with some of the largest granite stones in the king's chamber weighing up to 80 tons each. Workers likely used a system of internal and external ramps to move these massive weights, though the exact method remains one of history's greatest debates. While many believe it was built by slaves, archaeological evidence of worker villages suggests it was a massive national project involving skilled laborers. Despite centuries of study, we still do not fully understand how the Egyptians achieved such mathematical precision without modern tools, and hidden chambers are still being discovered using cosmic ray technology today. Great Zimbabwe. In the heart of southern Africa lie the ruins of Great Zimbabwe, a massive stone city that served as the capital of a powerful trading empire between the 11th and 15th centuries. Built by the Shona people, the city is famous for its dry stone walls, which were constructed without a single drop of mortar. The most impressive structure is the Great Enclosure, featuring walls that rise over 11 meters high and extend for 250 meters. The granite blocks were carefully shaped and stacked to create smooth, curving surfaces that have survived for hundreds of years. At its peak, the city housed up to 18,000 people and controlled a trade network that reached as far as China and India, as evidenced by porcelain and glass beads found at the site. For years, colonial historians wrongly claimed that local Africans could not have built such a complex city, attributing it instead to Phoenicians or Europeans. Modern archaeology has completely debunked these myths, proving Great Zimbabwe was a purely African achievement. A mystery that remains is why the city was eventually abandoned around 1450, with theories ranging from environmental exhaustion to shifts in regional trade routes. The Rock-Hewn churches of Lalibela. Deep in the Ethiopian highlands, 11 medieval churches are carved not from bricks or wood, but directly into the volcanic ground. Built in the 12th and 13th centuries under the orders of King Lalibela, these structures were meant to create a new Jerusalem after the original city fell to Muslim conquests. Each church was chiseled top down from a single block of solid basaltic rock. Workers had to carve out the windows, doors, and intricate internal pillars while moving downward, meaning a single mistake could ruin the entire structure. The most famous is Bieta Georgis, or the Church of St. George, which is shaped like a perfect cross. These churches are connected by a labyrinth of narrow tunnels and trenches designed to protect the worshippers. Legend says that while men worked by day, angels continued the construction at night to finish the project in just 24 years. Scholars still study how the builders managed the complex drainage systems that keep the underground churches from flooding during the rainy season. To this day, Lalibela remains a living holy site where thousands of pilgrims gather every year. The Pyramids of Meroë. While Egypt is famous for its pyramids, the ancient kingdom of Kush in modern-day Sudan actually has more of them. Located along the banks of the Nile, the city of Meroë was the capital of the Black Pharaohs between 300 BC and 300 AD. There are over 200 pyramids here, serving as the final resting places for kings and queens. These pyramids are distinct from Egyptian ones because they are smaller, with much steeper sides and narrow bases. They were built using a shaduf, a hand-operated lever system originally used for irrigation to lift heavy stones into place. Inside, the walls are covered in carvings that blend Egyptian and Nubian culture, showing powerful queens like Amenhotep leading armies into battle. Many of these structures were damaged in the 1830s by an Italian treasure hunter named Giuseppe Ferlini, who blew off the tops of the pyramids to find gold. This act destroyed invaluable historical data about the Kushite burial rituals. Today, researchers are still working to fully decipher the Meroitic script found on the ruins, which would unlock more secrets about this wealthy, iron-working civilization. The Obelisk of Axum. In northern Ethiopia stands the Obelisk of Axum, a 2-4-meter tall granite monolith that weighs 160 tons. It was created in the 4th century AD by the Aksumite Empire, which was once one of the 4 greatest powers of the ancient world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. This single piece of stone is carved to look like a 9-story building, complete with fake doors and windows. The Axumites used advanced engineering to transport these massive stones from nearby quarries and raise them perfectly upright. These obelisks were used as grave markers for royal burial chambers located deep underground. In 1937, the monument was looted by Italian soldiers during their occupation of Ethiopia and taken to Rome. It stood in Italy for nearly 70 years before a massive international effort finally returned it to its original home in 2005. The technical challenge of transporting a 160-ton stone across continents in 3 separate pieces and reassembling it is considered a modern engineering marvel. The site still contains many fallen obelisks, including one that was 33 meters long, which likely collapsed during its original installation due to its immense weight. The Valley of the Kings. Located on the west bank of the Nile, near Luxor, the Valley of the Kings was the royal burial ground for Egypt's New Kingdom pharaohs between 1539 and 1075 BC. Unlike the pyramids, which were visible for miles, these tombs were cut deep into the limestone hills to hide them from grave robbers. There are over 60 known tombs, including those of Ramses the Great and Tutankhamun. The tombs consist of long, descending corridors decorated with vibrant paintings and hieroglyphics that describe the journey to the afterlife. These colors are still shockingly bright today because they were protected from the sun for millennia. The most famous discovery occurred in 1922 when Howard Carter found the nearly intact tomb of King Tut filled with over 5,000 artifacts, including a solid gold mask. While we know who is buried in most tombs, archaeologists believe there are still undiscovered chambers hidden behind the rock walls. A major debate continues regarding the curse of the pharaohs, as several people involved in the 1922 excavation died shortly after, though scientists attribute this to ancient bacteria or mold inside the sealed environments. Timbuktu. In the nation of Mali, Timbuktu was once the intellectual and commercial heart of the world. Founded around the 11th century, it reached its golden age in the 1300s under Mansa Musa, the wealthiest person in history. The city was a major hub for the trade of gold, salt, and ivory, but its most valuable commodity was knowledge. It was home to the University of Sankore and hundreds of libraries containing thousands of manuscripts. These books covered everything from astronomy and medicine to law and history, proving that West Africa had a highly advanced academic culture long before European arrival. The architecture is characterized by Sudano-Sahelian style, using mud bricks and wood to create iconic structures like the Jingaribur Mosque. These buildings require constant maintenance. Every year, the community replasters the walls with fresh mud to protect them from the desert heat. Many of the city's ancient manuscripts were hidden in basements or buried in the sand to protect them from extremist groups in recent years. The global effort to digitize and save these papers is a race against time to preserve the written history of African science and philosophy. Leptis Magna in modern Libya is one of the most spectacular and well-preserved Roman cities in existence. Originally a Phoenician port, it was expanded by the Roman Emperor Septimius Severus, who was born there in 145 AD. Because he wanted to honor his hometown, he poured massive wealth into the city, building a grand forum, a massive theater, and public baths that could rival those in Rome itself. The city was built using high-quality limestone and marble imported from across the Mediterranean. Its theater is famous for its perfect acoustics and its stunning view of the sea. What makes Leptis Magna remarkable is how well it survived. After the city was abandoned in the 7th century, it was buried by shifting desert sands for over 1,000 years. This sand acted as a natural preservative, protecting the statues and carvings from erosion. When archaeologists began excavating in the 1920s, they found a city that looked almost exactly as it did 2 millennia ago. Historians are still piecing together how the city managed its water supply in such an arid climate, using complex aqueducts and cisterns that are still visible today. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you learned something, make sure you leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on anything I discussed in this video, and subscribe if you would like to see more like this one. Thank you again, and goodbye.